Landon Donovan stirred up a little controversy last week, claiming that the Galaxy are the, quote, giants of MLS.
Well, Greg, he said that during an interview in Spanish, so maybe something was lost in the translation.
Oh, maybe giant sounds like whipping boy in Espanol. No translation needed here on Extra Time. Week 4 of MLS is in the books, and no one seems to want to follow the script. Fine, be that way. Just makes everything that much more interesting for all of us. Hello everyone, I'm Greg Lawless, he's Shep Messing, and today on ET, we'll ponder some of the stranger results so far, hand out some early grades to MLS's marquee names, and reply to your recent emails. But Shep, as usual, we'll start with the ET Game of the Week. LA's 2-2 draw with Houston wasn't very sexy, but it made for some very heart-stopping drama.
Greg, I thought it was a great, exciting game to watch. In the LA Galaxy, twice they fell behind by a goal, but they caught up. And I'll tell you what, Landon Donovan, David Beckham, this is an awesome duo.
Well, it is a great link-up, and when Carlos Ruiz gets back from injury, it's going to be even that much better. I'm so impressed with Landon Donovan, though. His energy, his fire, his passion. It's as if he realizes that this is as much his team as it is Beckham's, which is something that didn't happen last year.
Well, Landon Donovan is scoring goals, but I totally disagree with you, Greg. I think this is still Beckham's team, and I object to Landon Donovan's attitude. I really think it's disrespectful. He should have gotten a yellow card for taunting the player. That's unsporting. That's a yellow card. For me, he's all about Landon Donovan. It's not right.
Well, you have to wonder whether Patrick Ayani hit him a little bit earlier, and I agree with you. He probably deserved a yellow card for taunting, but I still love the fire and the passion. In the end, though, despite all the flashbulb moments from the superstars, it wasn't a very impressive performance by LA. The goals they conceded were both from amateurish mistakes, either not marking the man in the area or whiffing on the ball. The central defense in LA is really pathetic right now.
Greg, you usually start to build a team from the back, solid in goal, solid back line, good defensive midfield. They just don't have the talent back there. They have the trio up top, but very weak defensively.
Well, obviously, defense is not very sexy, is it? So let's also look at Houston on the other side. They remind me of a Bruce Springsteen song right now, sort of one step forward, two steps back. They get Brad Davis back from an injury, and he's in the starting lineup, but they also lost Eddie Robinson to a 3-game suspension. What's going on in Houston?
Well, I'm not worried about Houston. Dominic Kinnear has the players he needs. They'll get it right. As for Eddie Robinson, look, I love a physical, aggressive defender, but I can't condone that elbow. He should have been punished.
Well, Houston's still winless, but they had some bright spots, I think, in this game. The biggest one for me, Franco Carraccio, the Argentine striker up top. He looked dangerous. He had a great attitude, and he got his second goal on the season against LA. Turned out to be the equalizer. I think if Carraccio and Brian Ching start to really link up with Dwayne De Rosario in behind, Houston will start flying very soon. Time for some news and views, and we'll start in San Jose. The Earthquakes signed former MLS forward Jean-Philippe Peguero last week, but they didn't need him on Saturday as they got their first win since the rebirth, surprisingly beating Colorado in Denver. And I have to say, Ronnie O'Brien looks like the Ronnie O'Brien of old. He got a great goal.
That's a great victory, Greg, for San Jose. And it's very difficult to dominate a game from a wide right midfield position, but Ronnie O'Brien did that. They got the second goal from Kai Kamara, so great victory.
Well, we said before the season that Kai Kamara would have to have a big year if they were going to have any success in San Jose. Let's move out to the east and actually up to the Great White North in Toronto. You and I joked before the season that TFC actually got worse. Part of that was shipping O'Brien off to San Jose, but this month, they've gone on a midfield binge, haven't they? They signed Rohan Ricketts, they signed Amado Guevara, and Laurent Robert, the Frenchman who came in, and he scored the goal this weekend that got Toronto their second consecutive victory.
First time we've ever had anything good to say about Toronto. I'll tell you what, I love their midfield. I like Carl Robinson. He's the anchor back there. Edu has talent. Now, with the scheming ability of Amado Guevara and Robert, very dangerous in the midfield.
And Robert, terrific on free kicks. He's been one of the more electrifying newcomers so far, but he's not the only one. Let's take a look at some of the other big-name imports this year. Shep, who's impressed you so far?
Well, I love the Mexican international Divino. He had a tough start for Dallas. Gave away a goal in the first game. Didn't play well in the second game, but they're undefeated. He has really solidified them. He's gotten acclimated to Major League Soccer.
And 2 straight shutouts for the Hoops. Now, a guy who's impressed me, Claudio Lopez. The Laos has a goal, and he set up the winner for KC against Chicago on Sunday. Mostly, though, I love his work ethic. He's not here to retire, which is so nice to see. And KC's Kerry Zavagnin told me how amazed he is that Lopez's ability to bring other players into the game.
Well, there's another Argentine that I like, and that's Gallardo. I think Gallardo has come with the same work ethic you just talked about. He wins the ball, and then he'll spray it around. Problem for DC United, Fred and Emilio, they think they're superstars. They're no longer running into open spaces for Gallardo to find them.
Well, the Argentine connection in DC better get things going. They have a lot of work to catch up. Now, let's get back to the Americans. The Olympic draw over the weekend in Beijing put the U.S. team in Group B with the Netherlands, Nigeria, and Japan. Shep, the U.S. avoided giants like Brazil and Argentina, but the Netherlands are European champions, and Nigeria is loaded with weapons like Chelsea's John Obi Mikel. How are the U.S. going to stack up with that?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Peter Novak is a great coach, and he's got a great pool of talent, but it's a critical time for him to evaluate players that are in Major League Soccer. Chad Barrett missed a sitter against Kansas City. He's a striker. He's got to score goals. And Robbie Rogers, I'll tell you, very frustrating. He's got skill, but it really doesn't look like he fights hard, runs hard, works hard for 90 minutes. Maybe an Arturo Alvarez, who's playing extremely well, is going to fit into the team.
Alvarez and his creativity in the midfield would certainly help. That long ball that set up Abe Thompson's goal this weekend was beautiful. Let me ask you this, though. Any chance for a medal for the U.S.?
Greg, I think absolutely. I think this U.S. team under Peter Novak can get to the medal round.
Gold medal?
Gold medal game.
Gold medal game. You heard it here first. The U.S. might be getting a gold medal, but it's a tough draw just to get out of the group. Well, Shep, we haven't dipped into the mailbox in a while. Let's get in there and see what you guys have to say. We'll start with Todd K. in Columbus, who asks, what do you guys think of the Padula-Hayduk combo at outside back in Columbus? Best hair combo in MLS? Well, Todd, let me say this. I don't know if they opened up some sort of a wave park in there, but it looks like you've got a bunch of surfers over there. But they also look good on the field.
Well, Todd, I don't care whether they have a buzz cut, a mohawk. These two guys as outside backs, they're playing extremely well.
And Columbus is climbing up the ranks in the Eastern Conference. Another question comes in. If this Rapids team succeeds this season, will other teams in MLS start taking the reserve games more seriously? That came from Josh in Denver. Josh, I really hope so, because this Rapids team has started to build from youth. Colin Clark, Stephen Keel, John DeRamondo, Nick LaBracca, all these guys came from the reserve league. They're reserve champions the last 2 years. Stephen Keel was reserve player of the year last year, and they're starting to help out on the full team. A third question comes in from Jacob in Billings. If you had a PK in stoppage time to win MLS Cup, what player currently in MLS would you want stepping up to take the kick?
Jacob, that's a great question. Maybe I'm going to give you a surprise answer. I'm taking Ante Razov. Really, he missed one in an MLS Cup final, so I like the fact that he missed one. I think he'd be money in the bank.
He'd probably power it in the back through the net. I'm going to go with Cuauhtemoc Blanco. The Chicago Fire man never seems to miss a chance like that. He loves being the spotlight, and that's the biggest spotlight that it can be, is taking a PK. Shep, it's everybody's favorite time on ET. It's Shep's wow moment of the week. What have you got for us?
Greg, I witnessed it last weekend at Giant Stadium, New York Red Bulls against the New England Revolution. And it's Jozy Altidore. Juan Carlos Osorio, the coach, tells him to run at defenders, get behind them, take them on. Look at it. He turns Igwe, blows by Lorenowitz, roofs it. Wow, what a goal.
Well, Jozy Altidore was certainly impressive, but he's more impressive when Juan Pablo Angel is on the field. Angel went off at halftime, and 10-man New England came back with the equalizer. Jeff Lorenowitz free kick beating that 8-man wall and John Conway. If you look at the stats as they stand right now, since Juan Pablo Angel's arrival in New York, Jozy has scored all of his goals when they're both on the field together. New York is going to have to find something that can turn that around a little bit so they don't have to rely only on these two, because injuries and Olympics and things like that are going to start to decimate the attack. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for you here on Extra Time this week, but Shep will be here and I'll be here next week, and we'll kick it around.